Hello, spiritual fam. Welcome back to another episode of Pranita's Spiritual Lounge. Hi, how you doing? Okay, so we're going to keep this podcast episode very light and airy and as positive as possible. The last one was really, really dark. But those are the waves of life, you know? And especially with the collective energy, and I was feeling the collective energy, that's just what I was feeling. I was really going through it that last podcast episode that I posted. It's okay to not be okay. I was going through it. Y'all, I was crying multiple times a day for like 3 or 4 days straight. I was just feeling the denseness and the heaviness in the collective. And I might have said it in that last episode. I'm not 100% sure, but I might have said it then. I knew that I was transmuting darkness for the collective. And I knew as soon as I was able to transmute and move that energy around that I would be on 10. Like 10. Like vibrationally, energy, joy, peace, happiness, whatever it is. Because that's just the laws of the universe. That's just how things go. You go down and you go up. That's just how it goes. And so that's why whenever I have friends or clients or whatever, people come to me and they're like, I'm just really low right now. I'm really down because of XYZ. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is great. This is great, because it means something good is right around the corner for you. That's just how the laws of the universe work. And that is the thing. It's one of the things that really gives me hope when I'm having those really hopeless moments, is to, first of all, lean on my faith more than anything. I don't know how people go through life without having any sort of faith in anything, whether it's universe or source or the planets, the astrology, like whatever you believe in. It's good to have some sort of foundation that will keep you steady when things start to get really, really rocky for you. And for me, that is my faith in God, and my spiritual practices like pull me back up, and it is my foundation when I fall flat on my face, which is how I was feeling last week. And y'all, this eclipse is doing its thing in my life too. And there's just, I feel like I'm very open, but there are certain things that I keep to myself. And I feel like that's okay. There's some things that you should be able to keep to yourself on a personal level, things that are going on in your life, because you don't want everybody's energy on your business 24/7, right? This eclipse season, I, like most of you, have been going through a lot of things. And some of it I'm sharing on here, like my spiritual ups and downs and woes, like I shared in the last podcast episode, like the collective energy and the denseness and the heaviness of what's happening in the world was hitting me so deeply, like to my core. I was literally having breakdowns, and just like work, day-to-day life stresses and dealing with people in this energy is really tough, because people do not realize, a lot of us, and I was feeling it too, when we're feeling really chaotic and we're projecting a lot of negativity, it's because the collective energy is in a very dense, heavy state. And so instead of people being aware of that and using it as like a check in their mind, being like, okay, this isn't all me, I'm not the problem, right? Instead of some people using that for like to check themselves when they're getting too negative or too low, some people will just let themselves drown in it and just keep going lower and lower and lower. And I'm like, no, you have to. It's almost like having that higher mind perspective, and having that perspective where, and I do this a lot, and maybe it's because I'm out here astral traveling and I have that ability to like astral travel and astral project, all of these sorts of things, right? But I always, when I'm in a low moment, I literally feel like I take my higher self, I pull her out, because she's still strong, she's firm, she's good, she knows everything. Your soul, your higher self knows all, right? How do I describe this in a way? It's almost as though I view myself in that higher perspective, and I don't allow myself to view myself in the moment that I'm in. So, perfect example of this is when you're going through a breakup, okay? I love this because I actually have done this before in my life. And when you're going through a breakup, when you're in the breakup and you're in the moment of it happening, you're just like, my life is over. No one's going to love me like this. I'm never going to find anyone. I'm going to be alone. That's what you're in. That's what you're going through in your mind. This is, should I just stay? Should I just deal with his toxicity? Should I just deal with the drama, his family? Should I just deal with this? Right? That's you in the moment. But you have to allow your higher self to give you a different perspective. And that's what I have really taught myself to do when I'm in moments of just like, you know, when you're so in your head and you're just spiraling in your head and you're like, how do I get out of this? I allow my higher self to kind of like, I don't know how to say it, but like come out of my body and look at me and talk to me and be like, listen, this is what we're going to do. Like the stronger part of me, right? Your highest self is that like healed version of you, is that wise spiritual teacher, soul teacher in a way. And I allow her to come out and be like, here's what you're going to do. Okay. First of all, you're going to check yourself and realize your worth and realize that this is happening for a reason and realize that maybe this person was just meant to be in your life for a season and not forever, just a season of your life. And you're also going to realize that you deserve more. And that's why this is happening. And speaking to yourself that way and allowing your higher self to speak to you, whether you do it in meditation, whether you do it just sitting on the patio, staring outside, like, what do I do now? Because I'm lost. You know, to allow yourself to have this different sort of perspective so that you're not just drowning in your own negativity. Because it's easy to be negative. It's easy. You guys, was it this past week? Oh, I just realized my computer's being loud. Let me move this down. Okay, so sorry if you could hear the background noise and my computer was overheating, but podcasting things, okay? Podcasting things, it's just what happens. But anyways, what I was saying was this past week, I was at a convention, like a business convention, right? And my parents were here. My stepdad had a convention to go to. I just got a free pass and I just joined to get like, you know, hang out and do some free stuff, free food, free drinks, free things, activities, right? But it's very interesting because I was meeting a lot of people and I was connecting to a lot of people, and there was a lot of people there, I'm just going to say, who were just complaining the whole time. Complaining about the food, free food, okay? Complaining about the food, complaining about the location, complaining about where they're staying, just complaining. But human nature, okay? But me seeing that and me being the person that I am, I'm always on like a journey of growth and perspective and learning more about myself and who I am, right? And whenever you see something in somebody else that you don't really like, it's because that person is reflecting that same thing within you, right? So I was hearing all these people complaining and being negative, and I was like, oh my gosh, like stop complaining, you know, like stop being negative. So instead of me being like, you're the problem, I used it as an opportunity to look at myself and see the ways that I do that and see the ways that I'm always complaining about certain stuff or the ways that I'm always negative about certain things. And it's so easy to be negative, right? Because that's our comfort zone. And when you have a comfort zone and when you have just like certain cycles and patterns that you're used to, it's very easy for you to always revert back to that no matter what situation you're in. And it's easy to complain because that is a way that actually people, humans, connect to each other, because it's very easy to complain about the same things and to be annoyed about the same things, right? But you're like an oddball out if you're being positive. If you're being like, yeah, the food sucks, but like I got a lot of cool free stuff, so I'm fine. You know what I mean? That's more out of most people's comfort zone, is to try to find the positive or try to find the silver lining in the situation. And it really, like, I truly believe it's human nature to be negative, right? But it's also human nature to be like, oh, doesn't this suck? Yeah, it does. And then like, that's how you connect to people, because we're always seeking human connection, right? So we will literally like drop our own vibration and be negative to meet somebody where they're at. And I just think It's just not necessary. But just witnessing that made me realize how I have that within myself and how I need to let that go within me. And I was feeling that with some of the things that have been happening in the past couple weeks in the world, and then also in my personal life, and just things coming up that I just wasn't expecting. And I almost caught myself being like, oh, let me just revert back to my old ways and just be negative about this and just spiral out and just be like, what am I going to do and what's going to happen and blah, 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 blah. Like, just I feeling inconvenience and just be negative. And I told myself, like, I'm not doing that, fam. Like, I'm not. Do you ever get sick of your own shit? Like, do you ever get sick of hearing yourself complain? Like, do you ever get sick of, like, the negativity in your own head or the worry and the stress that just circles around in your head? Do you ever get sick of it? Like, I know what that feels like, to be in that state of worry, stress, and fear and just anxiety just over and over and over and over and over. And I was just like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of that being my go-to. I'm sick of that being my pattern that I revert back to in a way, which is like, let me just go into this state because I know what it feels like and it's comfortable, right? And when I started to feel the eclipse doing its thing in my life, because this eclipse season is causing a lot of change for a lot of people. It's causing chaos for people. It's causing quick shift changes in your life. It's causing a lot of your shadows to be illuminated to you, and you're seeing parts of yourself that you probably don't really like a lot, and a lot of your shadows and things that you don't really align with anymore are being illuminated in your life. And so that's hard for a lot of people to swallow. And that's why I'm saying it's very easy for us to be like, you know what, I'm just going to go be negative now because I'm seeing all these things. There's all this chaos. I'm just going to dip right into the negativity. And I was feeling myself go there. What was it, like Monday or last week or whatever? I was feeling myself go there and I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm so sick of that being my comfort zone. I'm sick of worry. That's like a big one for me, you guys. Like, anxiety and worry is a big one for me. And I'm like, I am so sick of that being my go-to emotion. Like, I am so sick of that being my place that I live in on a daily basis. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. And I honestly think it's a good thing when we get to that point with something on our healing journey, where we get to a point of just being done with something that we notice now that we keep doing on repeat. You're like, oh, I keep doing this over and over and over and over again. And then you just get sick of it. And so I told myself, I'm not doing it. I'm not allowing myself to stay in this cycle, in this place of worry and anxiety and fear about, what am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about this? Oh my gosh, my life is changing. How am I going to get out of this situation? What am I going to do? No. I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing it. So you guys, this is when I said, like, when I fall on my face, the thing that keeps me grounded and the thing that keeps me having hope and faith in the ability to actually change my situation around is my spiritual practices. And so I'm over here waking up in the morning, doing my meditation. I'm doing my mirror work. Y'all, I love mirror work, okay? Because looking at yourselves in the eyes, there's nothing more powerful than that, because you can't hide from yourself when you look at yourself in the eyes, because your soul is going to speak to you. Your higher self is going to be like, yeah, girl, you've been real negative. Like, get it together. And I honestly feel like that's how my higher self talks to me. My higher self is like, girl, you are just giving your power away left and right. Like, get it together. I literally feel like that's how my higher self talks to me. And so when I look in the mirror, it gives me a moment to check myself and to be like, okay, I need to work on that. Okay, I need to stop doing that. And I will do my EFT and my mirror work, like I'm saying. Doing EFT tapping and mirror work, those two together, game changer. Game changer, game changer, okay? And it really just helps to get back to your truth, because I feel like in this world, we are so programmed to believe that we are less than, we aren't worthy of things. We deserve to be in these negative situations and cycles, and that everything's bad and everything's coming against us. That's like our normal go-to type of like mindset. But the truth is that you are worthy, and that you do deserve good things to happen to you, and that you are enough. And that's why I like to do things like EFT and mirror work in my spiritual practices, because it's a daily reminder of your truth. Your truth. And I said last night, I did a meditation, and it was for self-worth and things like that. And I will allow, you just allow your soul to speak to you, or your guides to speak to you, and all of that. And I was hearing the phrase of, I deserve good things simply because I am. That's it. It's not, I deserve good things because I have a degree. I deserve good things because I do good for other people. I deserve good things because I work really hard every single day of my life. It's not even about that. It's about, I deserve good things simply because I am. Simply because of that. And I'm not saying that, like, if you're a horrible person and you're out here like killing and all of this, that you deserve good things. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this to the girls that are maybe just struggling a little bit with self-worth, okay? And as a woman, we feel like we always have to prove that we're worthy of something. We feel like we have to prove that, oh, I'm great at this, so like I should have a high-paying job salary. Oh, I have this degree, so I should be, recognized in this field. Or, oh, I know XYZ, so I should be able to get my business to boom and to start this like new business venture and it explode. But we do it in an energy of proving to everybody, like, look how great I am. Look at how great I am. Or when people, let's say people don't believe in you, then we're also in an energy of, oh, you don't believe in me? I'm going to prove you wrong. Right? Again, proving. We're always in an energy of proving, and that's just the inner child, right? But I'm trying to myself, and also I feel like it's a good practice for anyone out there who struggles with self-worth at all. And it's basically allowing yourself to get to a point of, I deserve good things simply because I do. Simply because I am. Simply because laws of the universe, it's my time. I have been really kind of like tapping into that energy. And like I said, I didn't want to allow myself to stay in that negative state for too long, in that low vibrational state for too long, because I didn't want to spiral out and be in that energy, because nothing good ever comes from that sort of energy and being in that sort of state. And like I said, you have the ability to transmute darkness into light. We are very powerful beings, and people seem to forget that. We get amnesia when we come back to this earth, and we forget how powerful we actually are. But you have the ability to transmute darkness into light. You do. And I think the best way to learn more about like your soul and your power and your strength and all of that is to dive into a spiritual journey. I mean, that's why I am who I am today. That's why I'm here. And that's why I have knowledge that when I tell you, like, my knowledge comes from my higher self and my guides and my ability to channel. But before that knowledge was even like in me, I was just such a completely different person, because if I let my human take control all the time, my human is just going to be navigating from her wounding and from her inner child and from her subconscious blocks and from her self-limiting beliefs. If I let my human take over, then that's what she's going to do. And that's why people talk about embodying your higher self and tuning into your actual truth. And that feels really important, so maybe I need to say that again. People forget their truth. That's what I'm saying. You come back to this earth, you have amnesia, and then you're programmed by this world to think that you are less than and you are not worthy and everything is negative and everything's going wrong. That's what you're programmed to believe. And you forget your actual truth, which is that, you are great and that you are loved and that you are love. And we forget those things, and that you're powerful. That's a huge one for divine feminines out there. Powerful. Portal between two worlds. Like, come on now, get it together. That's why women feel so empowered after they give birth, because they tapped into their true nature and the ability to give birth. And that's why birth for a lot of women is very empowering, because they are like, oh, I'm that bitch. Like, I just birthed a soul. Like, I just birthed a baby. That's your truth. You are that powerful. Okay. I could talk about that all day, but I also wanted to say this. My plan, you guys, is always going to be to post a podcast on Sundays. Okay, but some weeks you got to bear with me. I had family in town. When did they come in town? Last weekend? And yeah, I just really felt called to be present with them, and I'm sure you guys can understand that. And sometimes, I'm not going to lie to you, sometimes I almost feel like, oh, like, you know, it's not going to hurt anyone if I don't post today. Like, you know, it's no big deal. But listen, when I tell you I got a couple messages about it, like, I got a couple messages about it. So feel free to call me out, you guys. Like, I am human. I'm on this spiritual journey with you. So if you see me lacking or slacking, you know, just hit me up and be like, hey, P, you slacking. Like, where you at, girl? You know, I appreciate it. It keeps me accountable, and it makes me feel like, you know, you guys are listening. You guys do care. You guys are getting something from this. So 100% hit me up. Keep me accountable. I do feel, and I've said this before, like, podcasting is my favorite outlet to create and to speak. So we gonna be here. You don't got to worry about me. Like, I'm going to be here. I am trying to figure out, though, I want to find a videographer, because this is a lot, you guys. And I think that's something that people don't understand about podcasting is it's a lot to put together. It's a lot to put together afterwards. It's just a lot of work to put out a podcast every week. Yeah, it's a lot of work. So anyways, I do want to find somebody who can help me edit and post and put some reels together and stuff like that. So if anyone's interested, send me a DM. You know, I'm not talking about like someone who's a professional, I'm talking about someone who's like, I could use just like a little bit of extra cash, and I know how to edit and I know how to put things together. So like, DM me, hit me up, let's talk. Okay. I want to talk about this eclipse that we are having. You guys are probably listening to this the day that we're having the eclipse, which is the 28th. And here's the thing about eclipses, though. Like, the energy is going to be strong regardless. Like, we've already been feeling it, right? So, yes, it is happening on the 28th, but we will still be feeling it on the 29th, on the 30th, especially the 31st, okay? When the veil is very thin. On Halloween, the veil is very thin, you guys. That's why it's like, be careful, be safe. But also, too, you have the ability with that sort of energy to tap in and to connect to the other realms, which I'm always here for that. So there's a couple of different themes with this eclipse, and I want to share that with you guys, and things to keep top of mind, and things to maybe like you can notice how these themes are showing up in your life, okay? And this is a Taurus full moon lunar eclipse. So, you know, your girl is feeling it. So there's a lot of powerful, potent energy happening with these specific signs, okay? Scorpio, we're in Scorpio season, okay? And there's a lot of different aspects that are happening with this eclipse. Like, there's a lot of different things and planets that are conjunct. So there's different signs that are going to be feeling this very intensely too. So if you are a Taurus, if you are a Scorpio, if you are a Libra, because we had the Libra eclipse 2 weeks ago. Okay. So this is kind of like also too can bring Libras like more of a closing out energy or more of a full circle moment. Like something could come forward for you. Those are the ones that are most prominent in my mind right now. So anyways, okay. So a theme that you can notice at this time is it is an eclipse, right? So eclipses bring in quick shift. I don't know what I was trying to say. Quick changes in your life, right? So you can expect doors to close quickly, relationships, jobs, opportunities, situations, friendships. You can expect quick endings, but you can also expect new beginnings and quick ones, right? And I've been seeing this a lot lately with meditation and, I receive visions and visuals through meditation, and I've been seeing hands like this with a sprout coming out of it, like something growing. So that, to me, that's a new beginning. And that is the theme, one of the themes with this energy, right? And you have to believe it is so. Here's the thing, you guys. With this energy, you can lean on either way. Okay, so you can be like, life is happening to me, not for me. Okay, life is happening to me, so I'm going to be negative. And I'm just going to be over here in my negativity. Or you can be like, these things are happening so that I can shift into something better and greater in my life. And so something good is about to happen for me. And you can lean into the positivity. And whatever energy that you are choosing to really stir up within you is what you're going to see in your reality. It's just the truth. Your energy that you're projecting and putting out, it's what you're going to see in your reality. If you're seeing a lot of chaos, if you're seeing a lot of bad things happening in your life, it's your energy. It's your energy. I'm sorry, fam. And I'm not talking about like unexpected, how do I say this? I'm not talking about things like death, for example, okay? Because those things are always unexpected. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about inconveniences in your life. I'm talking on a smaller scale, right? Like inconveniences, little mishaps coming up, arguments, things like that, fights with friends and family and stuff like that. What energy are you putting out? Because that's what you're going to receive back. Like I said, it's the same thing with the positivity and leaning into the positivity, because eclipses can bring in good change. It can bring in those new beginnings, like I'm saying, but you have to lean into that energy and believe it is so. What are you speaking out every day? What are you saying? What thoughts are you allowing to circle in your mind every day? Because if they're negative, that's all you're going to see. If they're positive, then you're going to see some positive. And even if there is a negative, it takes a really strong-minded person to shift it into something positive. And I love to say this to people when they're triggered and when things come up that trigger you in your life. This is an opportunity for growth. This is an opportunity for you to see your wounding very clearly so you understand how you need to make a shift and a change and how you need to heal it. Okay, so this is what's also really exciting about eclipses for me. And I feel like this eclipse is doing work in my life, y'all. Is doing work, and good work too. And it's because I chose to lean into the positive, because I was feeling myself feeling negative, but I was like, that's not what we're doing, Prina. Like, we're done with that. We're not doing that. We're done. Yeah, so I had to check myself too, I was like, that's not what we're doing. We're not doing the negative. We ain't doing it. It ain't happening. Not over here. Not over here. Not in this house. So anyways, eclipses can bring in new timelines. You have the ability to tap into your next timeline, your highest timeline, right? So if you have been vibrating at a specific level, at a specific energy, and you start releasing the negative cycles, the negative thinking, the self-sabotaging habits, the negative mental patterns and cycles that you're in, the more you start to release those things that no longer serve you, then with this eclipse, you can and you do have the opportunity to shift into your next timeline. You do. You 100% do, but you have to believe it is so. And if there's anybody out here even listening to this and being like, I don't know, nothing, I don't feel like that's happening for me right now. It's not really happening for me right now. Nothing positive is really happening for me right now. Okay, it's because that's what you're choosing to focus on. That's what you're choosing to put all your energy towards, the negative. So that's what you're going to see. Like, it's you. And that's just some tough love for the girlies out there, okay? Sometimes people need the tough love, and I need it too sometimes to be like, get out of it, Pernita. Like, enough already. And I'm talking about, like, the cycles within you. I'm not talking about if you're looking at, like, the state of the world and it makes you upset. I understand that. Trust me. But you also can't stay in that forever either. Right? So you are ending cycles of the past with this eclipse. Like I said, the old patterns, cycles, and habits that no longer align to you, you're ending those. A part of you is dying with this eclipse. A part of you is dying, and like, say goodbye to that old version of you so that you can welcome in the new version of you. I would recommend doing a meditation and tapping into your future self and what she's like and what type of life she lives and what she feels internally, and the type of money she has, the type of life she's living, the type of home she lives in. Like, tap into that person and who you want to be, you being your highest version of self, so that you know what that energy feels like. That is the best way to manifest things into your life, is to tap in. Tap in, you guys. That's what I'm saying. Spiritual practices are everything. You have to tap in. Okay, so with this eclipse being in Taurus, Tauruses are very grounded. They're about stability. They're about luxury and beauty and those wonderful things in life. And that's why I'm saying, like, sensuality. And with this eclipse, like, pay attention to, first of all, those things that you actually want. Like, what does stability look like to you? Align to that and tap into that. But there is a shadow aspect with every sign, with every astrology sign there is out there, every zodiac sign, there is a shadow side. And Tauruses can be very stubborn, and Tauruses can be very selfish, and Tauruses can be very, what's the word? I want to say like greedy, like keeping things to themselves, right? Like keeping good things to themselves. So notice in your life where maybe you are being stubborn or where you are being selfish, and you need to close that cycle. And this could be certain cycles within your love life, but mostly I'm feeling for a lot of people, it's in their like work life right now, and how they're showing up in the world, and their stability and how they're showing up in the world. But because we had the last eclipse that was in Libra, there is a touch of this having to do with your romantic relationships and the relationships that are in your life. So what ones are giving to you, and what ones are nurturing to you, that Taurus energy, right? Which relationships are nurturing to you, and which ones are not? Which ones are taking from you, and that's all they're doing? That's not what you want. It's time to let those things go. I saw a quote online, and it said something like, oh, eclipses will show you who your true friends are. And it's true. It's honestly true, because you're going to be going through some sort of change no matter what during eclipse season. So people who are meant to be by your side, and you could be going through a hard time, and that's how you can also see who are the true people who are trying to lift you up in those moments. Or this is something that I've noticed also too, which I didn't know it was a thing, but I'm starting to realize it's a thing. And I understand it. It's human nature, right? But even when you're winning, right? When you're winning, who are the people who are actually excited for you? And who are the people who are like championing you throughout, like you leveling up in your life and winning in your life? You know what I mean? And good opportunities and good breaks coming your way. Who are the people that are like, girl, yes, it's about damn time. Like, it's your time, like, to shine, right? And who are the people who are like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's great. But it is human nature to be jealous and envious, right? But, and people are always going through their own stuff, so they have reasons to do so. But just be aware of that, okay? And be aware of the people who are actually excited for you and genuinely happy for you when you're winning in life, because those are your friends, okay? People who are side-eyeing you while you're winning in life, not really a friend. More like an acquaintance, So anyways, I do have a question that you can ask yourself during this time. What cycles have been showing up for you in the last few weeks, and what is it teaching you about yourself? And that's a good tool to check in with yourself. And with this eclipse, that's what I'm saying, you guys. We got to tap in. We got to check in, because the astrology is always supporting change. The astrology is always supporting your spiritual growth and your internal growth. And you have to allow yourself to actually go there, tap in. And that's why it's good to spend time with yourself, and it's good to spend time doing your spiritual practices and journaling and meditating. And it's not just about the fact that it'll help you with, your anxieties or your stress or your worry. It's also about the fact that it's helping you understand yourself on a deeper level to help you to heal, Okay, and my a word of advice for eclipse season would be, do not resist any change. Allow yourself to be surrendered to the flow of life right now. Do not resist. That's another shadow aspect of a Taurus, okay? They will resist change because Taurus is like stability and like routine. So if you're resisting change in your life, you're probably gonna start to feel really uncomfortable right now because things are changing. So you're like, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable. Like this is changing, this is changing, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. It's happening for a reason. These things aren't happening to you, they're happening for you. And take it from a Taurus herself, okay? Change is the only way that you have real growth in your life. And allowing yourself to be outside of your comfort zone is the only way that you're going to experience real growth in your life. Okay, fam? All right, so that's it for me. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you got a lot out of it. This is your podcast for the week, but I'll be back next Sunday with another one, okay? And if I'm slacking in any way, don't be afraid to DM your girl and be like, Pranita, you're slacking. But do me a favor, you guys, if you got anything out of this at all, 1 ounce of anything, if anything resonated with you, if you felt anything in your spirit and your soul, share this with somebody, okay? Because we are in a very interesting time in life, in the world, and more light needs to be shared with people, and more like spiritual wisdom and knowledge needs to be shared with people. So do the collective a favor and share this with somebody, okay? And I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to the YouTube. It's Pranita Ann Morton. I'm going to get better at remembering these things, okay? Subscribe to the YouTube, watch the YouTube, or you can listen on Spotify or Apple Podcast. I want you listeners on Spotify and Apple Podcast, for the original fam, okay, from Spotify and Apple Podcast, do me a favor, head over to the YouTube and watch the video. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, you guys, if no one has told you yet today, I'm here to tell you I love you. Bye, fam.